Preview show right here on Citi TV. We are live on Facebook. Like we do this, and every Wednesday we break down the main stories from the Premier League and we look ahead to a weekend of some fantastic football right here on Citi 97.3 FM. The show is brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway and supported by Vodafone. It's been a fantastic match week 29. Match week 30 will even provide us with greater drama. But before we get into everything, let's just take a short break. When I come back, I get my guests to start talking to me, and then we are rolling up until 1:30. Don't go anywhere. Hi, welcome back to the Premier League preview show. My name is Quao, and Benjamin Nketia is here. Today you are in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah.
Last week you were in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah.
Why?
Premier League trotting. Trotting around the various Premier League clubs. You know how I like to do. I took a break from the whole jersey thing.
But you promised getting a Burnley shirt.
Charlie, the
and a Bournemouth shirt.
Don't jump the gun yet. The season is not over.
Let's start off with Monday Night Football, and something epic happened at Selhurst Park. Yeah. United went back to their very old playbook and took a page out of it. Came back from 2 down to win by 3 goals. It was a fantastic game, but I think it was a game that left us with 2 main stories. Yeah. First, let's talk about United's recovery, and let's talk about Crystal Palace and how they let a 2-goal lead go away from them.
Talking about United's recovery, I feel that this will be one of the gutsy performances I've seen from Mourinho's men. Basically being that I haven't seen a lot of character from them because they've always chosen the safer approach to matches. And of course, it didn't matter that Crystal Palace went 2-0 up to force United out of their comfort zones. And that's the comfort zone I've been talking about. Look, you might say whatever you want, that it's better to be wise and defend in matches, but United have been a safe team all season. And safe teams really do not cut it against the bigger opposition. You might do it against the likes of Crystal Palace, you might do it against the likes of Everton and whatnot, but if you run into major opposition, Manchester City, maybe a Liverpool, maybe a Chelsea sometimes, they will find ways to price you open. They will find ways to ride out results like what we had there. So first of all, I was pleased with the character I saw from United. And then also, I must mention that Romelu Lukaku's positional play in the past couple of matches for me has been fantastic. And that's credit to the man's mentality as well. Because look, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was onto. He was getting goals, but everybody else was busy looking in the other direction.
Why? I always say this, you're the only person who seems to be in Romelu Lukaku's corner. Why? And I'll ask this question again.
Yeah.
Why is it that he gets picked on? Why do people still think that he's still not good enough?
It's one of those things people do when they have too much to eat.
Come on.
I'm dead serious.
Look, that's a bit too hard.
I'm not being harsh, Nathan.
Look, he's 1 goal away from 100 Premier League.
How many goals has he scored in the season?
He's got 22 in all, I think. 15 league goals.
How is somebody like this getting stick? You see, people talk about numbers don't lie until it comes to Romelu Lukaku. And then,
well, like I'm saying, he's only 1 short of 100. And not a lot of strikers have made 100 Premier League goals. He is on the doorstep of 100 Premier League goals, which is great. But it's interesting, like you say, that when it comes to him, the conversation is always about something else.
To quote rapper Drake, he says that whenever he pulls the chess board out, whenever he pulls the checkers board out, people want to play chess instead. That's what happens with Romelu Lukaku. Whenever he gets his goals, people say, oh, it's against the easier teams. Whenever he fails against the big teams, they bring out the first touch.
But the numbers have never lied.
The numbers have never lied.
He's always scored against, quote unquote, the smaller teams.
Chelsea are not a smaller team.
I'm not saying Chelsea are small. I'm only saying that. He hasn't scored enough in the big moments. So that's the biggest thing that goes against.
Well, trust me, that moment against Crystal Palace was pretty much as big a moment as it gets this season, because getting his team on level pegging was magnificent. And for Nemanja Matic, I must say that...
What a way to score your first
and it was a vintage Matic goal, so nothing strange about it. Only that Chelsea fans will be scratching their heads and asking themselves how they let this one get away. But United really, that performance for me was all about character. They didn't show anything extraordinary with regards to keeping their shape, moving forward, or even pressing.
That was a given. They were going to do that, but they had to show character.
They had to show character.
Let's flip the script. Talking about character, it looks like Palace lost theirs after taking a 2-goal lead. They went ahead through Andros Townsend, good goal. Patrick and Arnold, even better goal. Smartness of the free kick, smartness of the technique. But how did they lose 3 points from that position?
Well, I basically think that that usually has been Crystal Palace's problem before Roy Hodgson took over. And I was very surprised by the sort of in-game management that he employed in that particular situation. I mean, it's basic. Everybody in the stands, everybody behind their TV sets can tell that a barrage is coming. Why can you, with all the grey hairs and experience of football, not tell that this is what is about to happen? That's why I had a problem with Roy. And I've always been a big supporter of Roy. I just think he lost the plot in that one. But I will also blame the players for this particular result. Guess what? And it was Crystal Palace involved with the example I'm about to make. Liverpool and Crystal Palace 3 seasons ago, when they caved in and gave the game away. It's basically mental. I believe firmly that even at 2-0, Crystal Palace in their minds felt that United would come back into this game.
So at 2-0, you're supposed to close the door, close the window, and ride out.
But
they had to do it for 35 minutes, because when Van Aanholt scored, it was 55 minutes. So you're saying that they weren't capable.
By the 60th minute, they wanted the match to end.
And that's horrible management.
And that's terrible. That's a terrible mindset to have. I mean, if I'm a Crystal Palace player and I'm up 2-0 against Manchester United, trust me, I am enjoying my moments in the game. That's when I want to showboat. That's when I want to spend 3-5 seconds on the ball just to frustrate the opponents, because we are the ones in charge. We are the underdogs. We are the ones in the negotiating position. Why then are Crystal Palace panicking with a 2-goal lead? That for me is unacceptable.
Well, we'll see how these players from Palace will respond. Remember, after this round, there are 8 rounds left, and somewhere down the line in the season, Ben and I will start to talk about the candidates for relegation, because that battle down there is as enticing as the hunt for second place in the Premier League. But Ben, let's start to look ahead to this weekend's game, and there's nothing bigger than this one. The 2 teams who don't like each other the most in the Premier League is Manchester United versus Liverpool. Some people claim that this actually closes the door on second. If you win this bang on, you're going to be second to Chelsea.
I think that's a little premature, but I think there's a lot to play for as far as that second place is concerned. Only that when it comes to Manchester United versus Liverpool, I'm looking forward to a few things based on the matches I've watched in the past. Let's say the first leg, the past couple of seasons. And I'm talking with a zone into the Mourinho approach to this Liverpool encounter. Do I feel as if he's under pressure to play attacking football against Liverpool? No. United fans ideally would love to see their team attack Liverpool, but I'm sure you're about to say. I'm sure you're about to say what you're about to say. It will be foolhardy for United. But look, I don't mind teams defending. Just put your team in the position to be able to attack when they also have the opportunity.
People claim that's what Chelsea didn't do 2 weekends ago, or last weekend against City.
When you just
when they had the ball, they didn't know what to do.
When you look toothless, then it's just the spirit just to watch you as a fan. Because look, fans pay a lot of money, and let's be honest, people will talk about park the bus, what's not. If I'm a fan, I don't pay £70 to go to the stadium to go and watch 0-0 draws or 1-1 draws. It's absolutely out the window for me.
Okay.
And I feel that again, purists might take me on. There are very good 0-0 results out there, but I feel that a 0-0 result of a football game with the goalposts being as huge as they are is a waste of my time. So if Mourinho will tell me that he can purchase Lukaku for that monumental amount, and for Paul Pogba, look, let's not lie to ourselves that he's performing at elite level.
He hasn't.
He needs to step his game up. And I've come to a conclusion about Paul Pogba as well. In a game of this nature, all things being equal, if Mourinho decided not to be the coward that I think he's become, to be playing the kind of football he's playing, Paul Pogba should have been controlling things in the middle, pulling strings, but taking those long-range shots that you so desire.
Could it not be that we are in the mind of a player who looks around and says, I mean, I can do whatever I like because I'm the team's most expensive player. There's nobody here to give me instructions. Rio Ferdinand made the point that when Pogba played at Juventus, behind him he had Bonucci and Chiellini to yell at him.
Yeah.
And in the middle he had Marquisio and Vidal and Andrea Pirlo, players who were far more experienced. And so he had no choice than to fall in line and to behave himself. And there's nothing like that at United.
Isn't it curious that when he had elders to get him back in line when he stepped out of line, he actually showed more expression as a player. He showed more flamboyance and more variety as a player. Now that he supposedly is the boss at United, he's a lot more rigid. What could be going on? Manager has the player reined in. And I think that, to be honest, look, some players are just special. You might just have to break your rules to satisfy certain players. Okay. I think that Paul Pogba, like every other player, will have to do defensive work when it is necessary. But I also think that the manager needs to have a proper chat with the guy where he says that I really think that you can do better than you're doing now. And I think Pogba can do way better than he's doing now. I feel that Pogba is sort of on the brink of doing what Yaya Toure did at the peak of his career. And this is like 5 years apart. If Pogba can just get the freedom and the confidence to be able to open, he will be an absolute monster.
How is this game playing out? Liverpool, we know what they are going to do. That front three is absolutely delicious to watch.
Yeah.
If you look at how Chelsea came to Old Trafford and collapsed in that second half, and the fact that, I'm sure you can go up and look at that performance and say, we cannot go and try this at Old Trafford where we switch off because United do have the quality to attack. How do you think this game is going to play out?
Basically, Liverpool have matured over the course of the season. I think that's what I've noticed most about them. I was slating Mohamed Salah at the start of the season for missing chances that fell to his left foot. Guess what? He's totally cleaned up his act. He's cleaned up his act and he's Roberto Firmino. Easily, for me, the most important player for Liverpool on that day. Tracks back, gets assists, tackles.
Jurgen Klopp says he's the man who gives them attacking rhythm. If he presses, they press.
If he gets going, everybody gets going. That's what it is for United. And United will have to keep an eye on him because he is practically the most crafty player on the pitch with regards to being marked. He's one moment in your ear, the next moment he's under your armpit. He just makes things happen. He knows how to move. He knows how to pull players out of their places. And that's where Lindelof, maybe Eric Bailly, I don't know, maybe Chris Smalling, I don't know. Whoever features will have to be smart on that. But I do feel as if Liverpool have felt insulted in this fixture, plainly based on the purity of football played and the results that have gone along with it. I think that they will come out with a vengeance in this encounter. United will have nowhere to hide. And I do believe that if United gets a thumping from a rival as fierce as Liverpool, they will be forced to rethink a few philosophies.
We'll see about that. That's a tough one there. Manchester United versus Liverpool. That's Saturday at 12:30. Let's talk about Chelsea and Palace. And after going through the kinds of things they've experienced, Chelsea, I'm sure, will want to hand out retribution to Palace. But the catch is that they've not beaten Palace in a while at Stamford
I was just about to say this. And talking about handing out retribution, Palace want to hand out their own retribution for that caving against Manchester United. As for Chelsea, when I watched them, look, I'm caught in two minds because, again, I might say, I saw this type of season happening. Only problem is, I felt as if they've been in situations in the past 3 games where they've firmly been in control of games and then have let it go. Main blame on the head of the manager. It's actually funny. It's as if Antonio Conte these days goes into matches to set up the team to lose.
Some people claim this might sound outrageous.
That's what I'm saying.
People believe that he's doing this to get fired. Yes. And I find his disposition.
It looks like that from the outside looking in.
The entire season he's been whining about player signings, strikers he doesn't have. He's been given 2 strikers. He's still not happy.
And you see,
What could he be thinking about at this moment?
He's disgruntled. He wants to leave. He just wants out. Basically, that's what it is. Look, I feel as if he felt he was going to get a certain type of control when he first arrived at the club. And then,
like he doesn't have that.
and then the structure of the club shocked him into reality that, oh, this isn't going to happen. Now he feels as if he's won a title, so there's a sense of entitlement there. Well, I've won your title. You should back to some of my motives and do some of the things that I want done. That doesn't happen. So he's sort of harbored a bitterness in him that he's carried into the season.
And when taking it out onto the pitch, I mean, that's extremely crazy.
No, you see, it might not be deliberate to take it out onto the pitch, but that's how life is. It will manifest. If you are angry, you might think that you have calmed down before you walk onto the pitch. It will manifest. And I think that his behavior has sort of become a dark cloud over the entire team, where he is making brain neutral decisions by taking out his star player, throwing in a winger into right back. They've just been all over the place.
You and I have heard Azar speak about, he says Chelsea should play better.
Yeah.
Even after Man City, he was talking about how frustrating it was when his teammates were hoofing the ball all over the pitch, whereas they could just have found him with a simple pass. It's when you have your star man coming out to talk, is it a good thing, criticizing the team that he thinks they can do better? Or these are hints that are pointing us to a certain direction? Because the rumor mill concerning Eden Hazard will never stop running, that he's off to Real Madrid.
Well, the rumor mill has its part to play in this. And if you witness the Eden Hazard move to Chelsea, you will realize that, like I always say, he sort of defined one of the watershed moments of player power in the transfer window for me, where a number of marquee clubs are after his signature and he keeps them all on the leash and then says that I know where I'm going. I think this is sort of the same situation that's going on. And I've heard him say in an interview that when he wants out of Chelsea, he will go out of Chelsea. There's nothing holding him back. If he wants out, he's gone. That's what he says. I don't know, but the truth of the matter is that that will be welcoming. That definitely will be welcoming, I tell you. What I can tell you for a fact is, it doesn't make sense when the team is in a crisis situation and the team's star player is being shuttled around various positions, being asked to do extra work when he really should be contributing in the other half, and the manager is hoofing him in games where he feels he can be the difference. It doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm Eden Hazard, I'm looking at the Chelsea season and how it's finally rolling up towards the end, and I will be having a lot of discussions with my agent.
We'll see about that. Some pundits say that Eden Hazard should get on the phone, call his agents, and then try to get him out of Chelsea. We don't know where he'll end up. Real Madrid have always...
Would you want to be in this Chelsea if you were Eden Hazard?
I can understand why you asked that. I'd still want to be here. I think that, look...
Would you want to be playing the Europa League as Eden Hazard?
Clearly not. But I'm only saying that I think Antonio Conte needs to calm himself down. He needs to understand that they can still salvage
he's had a whole season to calm himself down. He's clearly not chosen the option.
We'll see. Antonio Conte, does he have a job after match week 38? We'll find out. Let's close our Ben with Stoke City versus Manchester City. This, some people say, will do nothing to help Stoke. But again, it's another opportunity for Stoke to try and claw themselves out of the bottom. It's been a very bad season for them. You quoted Paul Lambert saying that Stoke sleepwalked their way into this and now they have to wake up.
They're about to sleepwalk into a thumping. I'm telling you. Look, if you have your triple captain in your FPL, this might be the right time to use it. I tell you, look, I can see it. It's coming. Stoke are going to get beat by close to 5 or 6 in the next encounter. Manchester City now look invincible to me. And you see, it's crazy, but I must give props to Pep Guardiola.
You're not
usually teams begin to show cracks towards the end of a season where the wear and tear of the season has just been too much for them mentally. Some might say that it helps to have a +10 healthy cushion on top of the table. But the truth of the matter is that there's also the tendency to get complacent when you have such a big lead, take your foot off the pedal and allow the chasing pack to catch up. They've not done that. They've not done any of those things at all. They just look business-like. Look, when they walk out onto the pitch, the best thing about them is that they look like a team that are battling relegation. That's what I like the most about Manchester City.
That's some good spirit.
They go onto the pitch looking like the hungriest out there. Meanwhile, these guys are the most comfortable guys on the table. And that's exactly why Stoke City will get thumped. Why? Because they will attempt to park the bus. Paul Lambert will never, even against a Watford, he will never, ever attempt to play attacking football. I'm not talking about a Stoke City. What defense do they have? Bruno Martins, Indy, Eric Peters, Ryan Shawcross, if he's returning from injury. Look, it's a done deal. Guys, I'm reminding you again. FPL, if you have your triple captain available,
better put it on.
Free hits, bonuses, whatnot, this might be the time to use, I'm telling you. It's about to be a goal fest out there.
Oh man, this was interesting things I've heard Benjamin say. It wasn't the time to play your triple captain. Alright, let me go through some of the comments and then we'll take a short break. When we come back though, Ben will be giving us his predictions. Henry Nyakon Kakari is asking when we'll preview other European leagues. Just stay tuned, you never know what we'll be doing. Okay, Emmanuel Sawyer says the statistics do show that Lukaku has scored more against top opposition than Ruud van Nistelrooy did. Says the claims made about King Lukaku are honestly unjustified. His conversion to chance ratio is fairly high. Very interesting. Lukaku's got great numbers, but like we've established, the arguments are always against him. It's a very odd thing. Maybe at the end of the season, we'll look at his tally and have a conversation about that. Afromosis says Forza Juve. Interesting, Forza Juve. Juve played tonight against Spurs, don't they? Anyway, let's just take a short break. When we come back, we'll go through more messages, and then Ben will be giving us his predictions for the entire match week 30 of the Premier League, which will be live on Citi 97.3 FM. It's the Premier League preview show. We take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you are to read the historical text, you realize that even Yendi was formerly a Dagomba, it was formerly a Kokoma land. And then when the Gonjes battled the Dagombes in the old Yendi, now there's an old Yendi that is now no more used. So they were pushed to go to the new Yendi. And when they were pushed to go to the new Yendi, they also pushed the Asifolos because they don't have a standing army, they don't want to fight, so they just move across the Oti River.
There are these kinds of traditional alliances and relationships, okay? Some of us prefer to call this a joking relationship, okay? So two ethnic groups may strike this kind of joking relationship, goes back further in time, and which allows any individual who happens to belong in that group to be able to play and joke freely with a member of the counterpart group. So quite a number of them.
Welcome back to the Premier League preview show. A bit of afters in the back. It doesn't matter. These things happen all the time. Let's just get back to our predictions. And let's start off with the tasty one. Then the tasty one at Old Trafford. Man United taking on Chelsea. Saturday at 12:30.
Man United Chelsea?
Man United Chelsea is happening already. Man United Liverpool.
You scared me for a bit. Man United taking on Liverpool. Liverpool to win this 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Heavy scoreline. Let's get on to Everton versus Brighton.
Everton 1-0 just because of the bad slide they've been on. Look, they need something to hold on to, or a couple more bad results and they will slip into that dreaded zone.
I watched a few clips from their game at Burnley.
They threw that game away.
The player positioning in defense was pathetic. Michael Keane.
Ashley Williams has
And
become
Ashley
terrible.
Wi-
He's
the
become terrible. That's
Everton
why he
fans
got himself
want him
sent
out of that team.
Yeah, he's been terrible for them. You know, I thought he was going to be a leader in the waning days of Phil Jagielka, but apparently he's not been a good example,
Hasn't done
elbowing guys in the face and whatnot.
That's
But
horrible.
They just need to win because look, a few more bad results and Everton might just be in that place.
Huddersfield versus Swansea. That's also at 3 p.m.
Huddersfield, Swansea. I'd say 1-0 Swansea away from home.
Wow, see against David
Yeah,
Ragland's
I never vouch for Swansea, so if I'm vouching for Swansea now,
It must be good.
They've been on a good run. And curious thing is, they've never actually lost a game where Jordan Ayew has scored. So whenever he actually does score a goal, they actually go on to get either a draw or a victory. So
The last time
I think
he
something
scored-
special will happen for
The
them.
last
in that
time he
game.
scored, they were closing out a 4-1 win over West Ham. Newcastle versus Southampton.
Newcastle, Southampton, Rafael Benitez will be too smart. Newcastle to win this.
Okay, West Brom versus Leicester. Brom are at home and they are rock bottom and almost there.
They will get beaten 2-1 Leicester.
Wow.
Yeah.
West Ham and Burnley. Burnley last week did the unthinkable. They came back to win for the first time under Sean Dyche.
Yeah. It was amazing. I loved watching them and I loved seeing them come out to play when they didn't have to attack. Like they were genuinely being adventurous. It was refreshing to watch for once. But West Ham, Burnley, West Ham have been in a terrible patch
They lost last
recently.
week to Swansea.
Yeah. Burnley have been good. I think this game will end in 1-1 draw.
1-0 draw. Okay, so West Ham have lost to Liverpool and Swansea in their last two. Our 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, Chelsea and Crystal Palace.
2-2.
Why aren't you saying Chelsea to win?
They just haven't showed enough nuts for me. And Crystal Palace,
Also, like the last two performances have been away at City and at United. I mean, give them.
they won't win this.
Give them some
They won't win this. The manager is disinterested, star player is disgruntled. It looks like Willian is trying to use this bad patch to advertise himself for the transfer window.
Is it not time for Antonio Conte to throw one off or either Morata and Giroud in that? For one, start the strikers.
Well, I mean, you get started if you've shown that you should be started. Morata has been piss poor. Look, Morata can't break a ball to save his life. He cannot dribble to save his life. He looks terrible.
Could it not be fair
he's about
season
to-
syndrome? I mean, it's come to a league.
It cannot be because he started on such a high. What could have happened? Look, he's about to enter that dreaded Benzema zone. I'm telling you. He's been that bad in that spell. And this is funny because when the spell started, I only said, you know what, let's not make a big deal out of it. He'll probably recover, score a few goals, and he will get back. Recover. The season is about to end.
We'll see. Chelsea versus Palace too. Let's get to Sunday. Arsenal taking on Watford in a bit of a North London kind of like derby. Watford won the first game, and I remember after that, Troy Deeney said Arsenal were soft, they were easily bullied, and all of that.
Arsenal will win this. I think they feel they've been insulted enough. I heard Danny Welbeck speak this morning about the fact that they need to stick together because this is a time of turmoil. And you know, that's what makes great football clubs. I've heard Arsene Wenger say things like he's still the right man for the job. As much as it might not be the most pleasant bit of music to the ears, the truth of the matter is Arsenal can't afford to sack Wenger now. So it's better for them as a team to unite internally and see out the season just so they can thrash out their issues then. But for now, the guys need to stick together. Granit Xhaka, Alexi Iwobi, Danny Welbeck. This is the time to stick together because guess what? Teams are extra aggressive for points now. Guys are fighting for top 4. Guys are fighting the relegation battle. There's every bit of motivation for everybody else on any other side except you. So if you do not motivate yourself, you're about to get thumped. Arsenal to win this 2-0.
Bournemouth versus Spurs. That's Sunday at 4 p.m.
Bournemouth versus Spurs.
Bournemouth at home, a very adventurous
2-2,
side.
I say.
2-2.
Yeah.
All right, Monday Night Football, Stoke, Man City. Give it a precise one. You said City would win heavily.
5-0.
Oh no, 5-0.
5-0. I'm getting my triple captain out there. I really am. I've been waiting for a game like this.
This is it.
I'm getting my triple captain
This is
out
it.
there.
5-0. We'll see about that.
I will say no more.
Let me go through a few of the comments. And Parkwesi Hicks said, Hazard said that he would never leave Chelsea, just like Willian, he would leave if the club said they didn't need him anymore. Okay.
Eden Hazard. I don't think so.
Amadi says he likes our new studio. And he says he wants the show to be on radio too. We'll find out.
That's an interesting concept.
We'll see about that. That's something for the technical people. Anyway, that's the end of our previous show. Ben, nice to have you here. I don't know what he'll be wearing next week though. So you have to stay tuned.
If Stoke gets thumped 5-0, I'm coming here in a Stoke City jersey. If they get thumped 5-0.
You heard it from the man. Next week he says he'll be in a Stoke City shirt. So tune in next Wednesday at 1 p.m. to see if we'll see him in a Stoke shirt. We'll see what happens between Man United and Liverpool on Saturday, and every other game which will be live on City 97.3 FM on Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. My name is Nathan Quao. This has been the previous show, proudly brought to you by Betway and Premium Bank, supported by Vodafone. We'll catch you again next week. Take care and bye-bye.